What's going on, guys? I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Welcome back to my series where we're making a game similar to the game
The Binding of Isaac.
In this video, we're going to be making corner-wise map tiles. We take a screenshot of the map. And
Oh no, not
some of these
again.
rooms only have a top door and a right door. And so technically this means that you could put stuff here. And this is true for all four directions. So like it could be like this. It could be like this. It could be like this. So we need to make a different folder inside of our level in the rooms. We've got top, bottom rooms, left, right rooms already. So these are rooms like if there's only a left door and a right door, I was just shooting the wrong direction, but if there's a left door and a right door, we already have that set up where there can be stuff at the top and the bottom, and the same with vertical. Now we need to do corner-wise rooms because there could be rooms like this one that we're in that could technically have, maybe there could be like a hole here, or there could be something on the wall here, or there could be stuff, right? So we need to add that customization. And because we've made the spell script in such a way where the bullet is tracking with the floor, so it will stay exactly 5 above the ground, your character can automatically shoot downhill. So I don't know if I can show this without screwing anything up. Let's just see, hang on. So yeah, so now we have like a downhill slant here. And you can see when we're attacking, it goes down automatically because we've set up the spell script in a way where it will track the floor layer and it will stay a certain distance from the ground. This makes it so that if we wanted to put like a stairwell or something like that, and we could have enemies on the stairwell and your character will still be able to shoot it, and it will go upwards as well. If you guys are, so the entire project is available for download for free in the description of the video. You're welcome to download it and use whatever inside of it you want to. There's no like license or anything like that. And yeah, all right, so here we are in Blender. We're going to delete the light in the camera. And if you take the object that's already there, we'll press F2 and we'll just call this
Stairs.
And if you press tab to go into edit mode, you can press 7 on your keyboard and scale this only on the x-axis so that it's longer, and then scale it on the z-axis so it's thinner. And so this is going to be the stair. We're going to edit this afterwards, but let's just create the staircase first. So if we go into the modifiers, we're just going to add a bevel modifier. This rounds the edges of this, and we're probably going to end up saving this before we we might sculpt the bricks into this. I'm not sure if we're going to use bricks or not. We'll see. But yeah, you can kind of see what the bevel is doing. It just rounds the edges, and we're going to make 3 segments so that it's kind of rounded and looks pretty smooth. And then we need to add another modifier, which is going to be the array modifier. And we want the array modifier to be going on the Z axis, or the Y and the Z axis. So just do 1 and 1. And so then you can see how this is going to turn into stairs, hopefully. Okay, so then we need to raise the count. So we'll just do something like 10. You can make these like as long as you want, but you don't want the room to be too big. So this is seemingly working. So we want these to be a little bit steeper, maybe. So if you want to make them steeper, what you need to do is if you go into edit mode, you can press A and press S and Z to scale it on the Z axis. This should automatically make it go up. You can change the Z and the Y offset with this thing. So if your stairs are split or something like that, like if there's a gap here, you could lower the Z offset and just make it so that it exactly fits. I'm going to do a 0.9 so that they overlap. We don't want to see any holes or gaps in between the stairs. And then right at the bottom of this, we can press Shift A and we're going to make like a landing. So the landing is going to be a cube. Add the same bevel modifier that we added here. Actually, I think you can copy it. So if you select the cube that you're using and you shift select this, I think you can press Control L and then copy modifiers. Now that copied all the modifiers. We don't want that. Control C, Control Shift C, Control Alt C. Whatever. I'll just set it up. I don't remember what the shortcut is. Maybe I have this set in different keys. I always change my Blender keys, and they're not even the defaults anyway. So let's just see. So it's 0.03 and 3. So then go into edit mode for this, and you can scale this. And don't worry about the bottom of it being visible. Again, it's a top-down game, so you're not going to see the bottom. So this could actually be, so if you press Shift-Z, you can make this landing, I don't know if it should be larger or not. Okay, and then we can take this object and Shift-D this as well. So this is just like a quick way of making like a stairs down kind of room. So like if you go back in the game, if you go in this door, this can be one of the doors, and then you go down a stairs and then down more stairs. And because all of the rooms you just spawn in front of the door, it will just look like you went down a level. So anyway, so back in Blender, I think this is looking pretty good. We need to add some walls to this. We're going to do the same thing with brick walls, where we're just going to use sculpt and our brick texture that we made in a previous video. to do this. So let's add an object here. We'll scale it up on the y-axis, and we'll press G and Y, and this can actually be right like this. Select this top face and just press G and Z and move it up. And so this part needs to have a landing as well. No, it doesn't need to have a landing. So then just press G and Y and move it over so that it lines up with this. And like this, I could just press G and Y here. And then we'll just add a loop cut like right here. And then we can select this face and press G and X. And we'll press E instead of G and X because we want to extrude it. And these don't really have to be the same size, but you could try to make them similar in width. But it's kind of the same deal. Then we'll just take this and we'll do G and Y. Sorry, E, not G and Y, E. And so this one can actually go all the way over here. And then this bottom face, actually all of these bottom faces can come down. So G and Z to move them down so that they cover the bottom part. You're not going to be looking at this from the bottom. So you'll only be looking at this from the top view. So don't worry too much about it looking bad from like different angles. You are only ever going to have really the one angle unless you find a way to go through the wall or something like that. So then this can come out just a little bit more because we're going to add another wall here. And then we'll select face select and we'll do G and X. And this, just keep doing that, E, sorry, just do E, not G and X. And then this can go here and we'll select these two and they can come actually lower. So we'll do E for that to extrude them. And it looks like this set of stairs is not straight. So let's move them over so it hits the wall. And we can go into edit mode, press A and scale them on the y-axis so that these stairs are a little bit wider so they make it to the walls. And this part as well just needs to go a little bit here, and then we can scale it, Shift Z to scale it on everything except for the Z axis. And then we also need like a wall that comes, oops, crap, what did I do? Control R, by the way, to make these loop cuts. And we can select this wall, press E. Actually, I remember that time. And we can press G and Z on this to move it down. And we'll do E, not G and Z. And perfect. So then this will have to connect. So we'll press Control R here and Control R here. And then we can take this face and this face, and we'll go to edge and bridge edge loops. And these two bottom faces as well. We can go edges, bridge, edge loops. Oops. Okay, and then just make sure that the stairs go all the way. And also this is on an angle. What the heck? Oh, it's because of this not being straight. So we just need to take this and press G and X to flatten it. So get a top view like this, and then you can take these lines and press G and X to press Alt Z to get a see-through view, and just select everything and just press G and X and move it over. And you can use the grid lines to align it. And again, it doesn't really have to look perfect. You're not going to notice, like it doesn't matter. So this also needs to just come out a little bit. So just press G and X. And maybe we'll scale this a little bit in object mode on the x-axis so that it goes down into the wall. And then in the game, we already have doors. So we're just going to put a door on this wall. And actually, this bottom part needs to come down so that it actually... Okay, so E, not G, always E. All right, so now for the fun part, we're going to turn this into bricks. So if we select both or all the objects, maybe we should join them together first. So just press, I've saved mine. So in case I screwed this up or it doesn't work, I've saved it. So before you do this, make sure you save it. And so if you join these together, you might get it where it moves like that. Just press Control A, select everything and press Control A and press rotation and scale. And that's not gonna be an option. So what we can do is select everything and right click and press convert to mesh, and that will fix it all. So then if we go to the sculpting tab, again, make sure you save it before you do any of this because this might crash your thing and you might have to start over. So at the top here, click remesh. I'm gonna do something very low. So I'm gonna do 0.3. I don't know if your computer will be able to handle this, so be careful when you're doing this. You can see that it made a lot of geometry. And I didn't actually join the objects together first, so we needed to do that first. So let's see. Oh man. Just press Control J to join. And I missed the stairs, so let's do that as well. So select both of them, Control J. And so they should all be one object, and we'll just call this stairs. And then we'll go back into sculpting and we'll do remesh. And I did 0.3, but that looks like it was a lot. Let's do 0.4. Okay, so if you select everything and press tab, you should be able to see that there's like a bajillion vertices, like a lot. So let's get out of that. And so in a previous video, we added this bricks texture. I just basically found a texture online, bricks, and it's not like it's a special texture. It's just like a picture of like a brick wall. Blender is pretty good at like just doing this for you. So if you drag this on, you can see how it adds bricks. So let me just give a quick recap of how this is working. So inside of your pane thing, you were not going to have custom by default. So if you don't have this one, you can go into the sculpting tab, and at the top here, you can click duplicate asset. So you'll have to do this on a brush that you already have. So like drawing or clay strips or something like that. And then in the library, you can choose a custom library here. If you don't have a custom library, if you go to the file menu, you can go to, edit preferences. At the bottom, there's file paths. You can add an asset library here. This is just a location on your computer where you actually store the brushes. And so from there, so you just click duplicate asset, you name it whatever you want to, and then you pick custom as your catalog. And that's pretty much it. And then you have to, so inside of the brush, there's a texture. So if you click this button, you can add the bricks texture to it. And then like, it's just a picture that I found on Google, like a picture of bricks, right? In the stroke, it by default, this is set to space. So you'll need to change it to anchored. This is what will allow you to drag over the wall. And you want to turn down the strength a lot, because if you don't, you can see how this warps the wall. Like it pushes the wall based on the colors in the thing. So you want to turn this down so that it doesn't push the wall as much, but you still see the bricks. So kind of like this is okay. And again, you're not really going to see this as much, so don't worry about the details being perfect. Like it will still look like bricks, even if you don't exactly align this. So let's just add more on the side here. And the higher you used, the lower the number you used when remeshing, the higher quality the bricks are going to be that you draw on. That's how I know. Okay, and then on the actual stairs, if you zoom in, just press 7 on your keyboard so that it's exactly top down. And we're just going to kind of make these have bricks too. Everything in here is just going to be all bricky. Oops. Just try to make sure like the lines kind of line up as best I can. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's going to look good kind of no matter what. Okay, and I think we're going to take the top parts of the walls and we're just going to smooth them out. So just go to like the normal draw brush and make sure you turn the strength down so you don't do it too much. You could also turn the radius down a little bit as well, and just hold shift, and we're just going to smooth out the tops of the walls. I don't think they need to be bricky. I don't think the tops of the walls would be like that. Only because bricks, the very top. I mean, I guess they could have vertical patterns on them, but okay. So now that we're done this, what you can do is go to the object mode again. And so now we will have a huge number of faces here, and we just want to add the decimate modifier. And it's important that you kind of guesstimate the right number. So I have 4 million faces right now. That's way too much for this room. So let's just try like 0.05, and we're going to lose a lot of the detail by doing this. Okay, so that didn't actually take away enough detail. There's still 420,000 faces. We could probably get away with that. Like, it's not really too big of a deal, but it's still kind of like a lot. So we're just going to lower this number maybe to like half of that, which should give us around 200 No, maybe even lower, maybe just to 200. We don't want to lose all the brick detail, but we also don't want the room to be like a bajillion things. I don't think we're going to be putting enemies in this room, so it's not really the biggest of deals. Most modern hardware can handle this number of faces, no problem, but you know, it depends on your machine. And if you want to put it on a console, this is not even an option. You should use a normal map to make the bricks, or you should make separate objects of the bricks or something like that. It'll be a lot better performance than actually having this many faces or whatever. All right, so at this point, you could go through the effort of painting each of the tiles. Like we covered this in a previous video where we made these two gigantic head things. And if you want to figure out how to paint the tiles, it will look better if you do that, but that's going to make the video way longer. And the whole point of this video is to show you how to make the corner rooms, and we're going to have to do the code as well, so it's going to take a while. So let's select the objects and just make sure there's a material on them. Sorry, it's just one object, it's the stairs, and just make sure there's a material on them. And then you can adjust the roughness to full, because tiles are not going to have like any like shininess. And then the base color can just become like maybe like a little bit darker, and you can't see it unless you go into material preview. So we're going to have lights and stuff in here that are going to light this up, so it's okay for it to be pretty dark. So let's just do like that maybe. And the lights will illuminate the crevices inside of the game. So I think this is pretty good. You shouldn't worry too much about how the colors look in Blender, because in Unity it will look completely different. So now we're going to export this and bring it into Unity. So if you go to File, Export, just create a folder for it. So I created a folder called Stairs, and make sure you have FBX unit scale selected and then click Export. All right, so here we are back in Unity. I'm just going to stop out of the game, and then we'll minimize all these things. And then, so we already have top, bottom rooms, left, right rooms. So let's just add a new folder. So we'll create a empty, and we'll call this right top rooms. And maybe we'll just leave it at this one for right now. So then inside of this, we can create an empty. This is going to be the first room. Remember that in these lists of rooms, it randoms a number when it generates the tile on the map. And that's the game object that will get enabled when you walk into the room. So by creating this, you can have many of these rooms, and it will choose which one it is at the very start of the map. So then from there, we just need to disable the start room because it's over top of everything. And then here we can we need to create a folder for the room that we just created. So we'll just call this corner rooms. So corner rooms can apply to all four of the corners. So these stairs that we made, they could actually apply to everything. So let's drag the stairs into the game. And then from here, we want to make sure that we turn on read write. This only really applies if we're using the nav mesh, which we're not going to be for right now, but you could do that if you want to. And so you can see that these are really small. So I'm just going to turn on the start room and compare the two of them and resize this. Let's also unpack the prefab, and then we'll lock this scale wise. And I don't know why it's doing that. Let's just reset everything here. Let's just reset the transform, and we'll lock this and make it larger. And I think this is completely flipped upside down. So let's turn it 180, or maybe it's just 90, not upside. Okay, cool. So then we'll move this over here. And this is way bigger than this room, but that's totally okay. It's fine like that. So let's do something like this. All right, so now we need to add a material to the stairs. So if you create a material, you can call it stair material. And we're actually gonna make this a shader. So let's drag this on here first and see if we can make it look good, but I doubt it. So let's see. Yeah, so we also can maybe add some torches to the walls. So we're going to steal the torches from the start room door. We need two doors. We're going to take a bottom door, which we're going to copy. And we actually need to make a folder for this. So call the folder doors, and you can paste this as a child, and we'll just move it up here. And oh, I see what happened. Okay, so -90. Oh, this is the wrong thing. This is the bottom door. Instead of doing 90 on the X, do -90. And so it's facing the wrong direction. It was facing downwards. That's why it's wrong. And we'll just bring this down like this. So it's about halfway through. And remember, you spawned in front of the door, so it doesn't really matter where you put this. You're going to teleport into the next room anyway, but if you put it too far away, when your character teleports, the camera moves, and it's using lerp, or not lerp, slurp. So if it slurps a long distance, you'll be able to see your camera move very, very far. So we don't really want that. But anyway, let's move this up for now. And then like this maybe, so we can see it. And then we'll get rid of the bottom door here. And then we'll paste this as a child and then move it up. Oh, it doesn't even have a collider on it. Hang on. So we need to add a mesh collider. Okay. So you can see when we get to the stairs. So you'll be able to go down the stairs, but you can't go up the stairs. So I wonder if we change the step offset to 2, it works. But the problem with that is if we get rid of this, we'll be able to walk up on the rocks. So we have to find the number lowest that works. So does 1 work? So 1 is still working. What about 0.5? Okay, so then it becomes a problem of like, if we disable these stairs, can I walk on the other objects with that? So let's get rid of the stairs for now. We might be good to go with 1. Can I walk up this? No. Okay, I can get up that, but I could already get up that. Okay, so I think that's good to go. So let's go back and we're just going to change our player step offset to 1. It was at 0.25 before, but in order for you to walk up and down steps, you actually have to raise the offset. And then we want to put those torches back in and see what they're looking like. So there's so the stairs material, I was thinking about adding a noise to it, but I wanted to see what it looks like if we add a light here. So let's go ahead and put a light. Yeah, a light like this. Intensity 100, range 1000 or 100. That's fine. Just make it like an orange color. And then it needs to go all the way up here. And it's just going to be in the middle to reveal. So the crevices will become more enlightened, from this light. And then we want to turn up the range and maybe the intensity as well. So you kind of get like this corridor effect. So that it kind of goes along with the torches or whatever. So let's see what this looks like now. We don't have any doors yet, of course. We're going to have to work on them in a second. Okay, so that could be a door that we're going through right there. We're able to walk up and down. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so the torches need to be going down with the thing. So these torches should be closer to the stair level. Okay, and now we need to put the doors back in. So I don't know where they went to. Let me just double click this one. Okay, so it's way up. And then if you double click on the noise material, it will open the shader graph. Let's just drag this away from the main thing. So that way we can see this while we're editing it. And we want to change the smoothness to 0 so it doesn't reflect, or maybe 0.1. So it's very minimal reflection. We don't need to add anything to the blackboard. We do need to add a noise material. So press spacebar and type in noise. And we'll just make this 25, and you can put this into the base color directly and click save. Okay, and we're gonna make it 100. And then from here, we're gonna multiply this by a color. So we'll create a color node here, and we will multiply these together and then put this into the B and then put this into here. And then we wanna multiply this by something a little bit darker so that the darker colors are darker. let's just look at this from the game view. Oh, the UVs are wrong. Okay, so back in Blender, if you want to fix this, what you need to do is get a top-down view like this, and then press Tab, and press A, and press U, and then press Project from View Bounds. And then inside of this, this will change the UV, so you have like a top-down look to this. Or you could create seams in this and do it that way. I'm not going to bother. We're just not going to use a noise material because these little things on the top that are like this, that's because the noise is applied incorrectly because the UVs are not set. So we're just going to get rid of this, and we will just save it like this, and then just turn the color down like this maybe. And then what happens if we add a little bit more smoothness? So like 0.4 maybe. 0.2 and then darker. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so let's put the noise material into the top part. And I think that's it for the first room that we're going to make. The first diagonal room that we're going to make anyway. Oh, it didn't land on it. Whoops. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so if you go into one of these corner-wise rooms, it's like just like a stairwell that goes down. We're gonna resize this. It needs to be bigger, but I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, so now just a few more finishing touches, and then I'm going to show you the code. So right now it says this is the right top rooms. So to get around that, because we have a left door and a top door, we're gonna call this top left rooms. Instead of remaking like the entire room, it's a lot easier to just call it top left rooms. So then if we save this, so we want to just disable room number 1 here, and that's fine. And then we're going to load the generate level script. So just Control F, right? Okay, so because the way we made this is actually so easy to edit. If you just copy this else if statement and the for each statement with the rooms, we're not going to be going over the entire room generation in this video, by the way. If you want to find out how to generate the entire level and that kind of thing, you really need to go back into, I did like 5 or 6 videos that are each an hour long. The logic is kind of complicated, so it's not something that you could just do right away. So the rundown is that we have a class, a static class that is called level, and it has a list of room inside of it. And I'll just quickly show you that. So this is the room. So it has the room number, the location, the image, whether it's been revealed, explored, etc. So there's a list of these rooms inside of the level, and you can access this from anywhere inside of your project. So inside of this, we're just going to be adding an option here for, what was it, left, right? Top left, okay. So top left rooms. And we only want it to be, so if it has the top and it has the left, but not the bottom and not the right, then it can become a top left room. And then so it will random between this transform over here, top left rooms, and enable the game object based on that. Now we're going to probably run into another problem where our character is not going to be vertically in the right spot because none of the other rooms so far have had different heights for the entrances in front of the doors. They've all been the same. So we're going to find that out. So this should work, I think, right away. And then for the rest of them, like top right, right bottom, bottom left, you just do the exact same thing that you've done here for those ones. I'm not going to show that on camera, but it's the exact same process. So let's see if we can find a top right room. Sorry, top left room, not top right. Okay, so in this time it exists and it is at 1 and 0. So the very first one, top left. Oh, because it has the left door and the top door, so this should work. Okay, so it should be right here. Let's see. Oh, there we are in the top left room. Look how small that is. All right, so the last thing we're going to do, and this is generally something I don't recommend, we're just going to make the entire room bigger because all of the parts will expand at the same time. So let's go ahead and make this larger. And we're just gonna bring our character. Okay, so now that we've made it larger, we can't go up the stairs because the stairs have become steeper. So we need to set the step offset to 1.5 and 2, actually. Let's just do 2. So the problem with setting the step offset to 2 is that there could be items, rocks, and stuff like that where you'll be able to walk up the rocks. But anyway, so this is how you could make a left to top room or a top left room. And you could do the same thing for all of the other directions. So I'm going to be doing this for top to left, top to right, right to bottom, bottom to left. So this just adds some flavor to the game where it's like, okay, you go through this door and now you're walking down a set of stairs that leads in here and we're stuck again. Oh geez. Okay, and then now we have the problem where our character wasn't above the ground. So if we put our character above the ground here, it'll allow us to walk again. He just got stuck because when it spawns you directly in front of the door, but it doesn't account the fact that there's stairs directly in front of the door. So usually like in front of the door would be having a space in front of it. So there should technically be a platform here for you to exit the door onto. Otherwise, like it spawned me inside of the ground. But anyway, we're not going to cover that in this video. This video is already pretty long, and also the size of the door looks like it's still probably too small at the very bottom. So we could probably address that. I'm going to address that off camera, but anyway, the point of the video was to show you how you can add a left to top room and quarter-wise rooms into the game. If you guys are enjoying the series, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys later.